Hello everyone, my name is Hwaldar Richards from DaGameTrain, and rejoice, for not only do we have a good game, but we also have no choking hazards in the area. It's time for something real nice. This one is called, I believe, a Monster World 4. So we are using a slightly different ROM, as you can see. In fact, it looks so distinctly English. I don't quite recollect this game being ever released in the English-speaking countries. Well, that's because certain groups have decided to take it up for themselves to translate the game for the Western audiences. And that is very nice. I believe this group is called Demi Force, but I only have the ROM's name to go by, so if you know who made this translation, let me know, so I can credit them properly. Until then, I'll just assume that it was done by Demi-Force, if that's even a group. With that said, this also happens to run at 60 frames per second, whereas certain other ROMs from the same group tend to run on 50 frames, so try to seek out the one that runs on 60 frames. It'll be better that way. With that said, let's get straight into it. We won't be able to beat this game right away because it is a pretty long game, so we'll just split it in a couple of sessions. Help! Somebody help! Please! There isn't much time. Yeah, I know, I probably ruined that little sequence, didn't I? Well, that's what we do here on the Game Train. We do things very seriously. Our story begins in Astahan Point, a mountain village of Arabians. Asha, what are you doing all the way out here? This is no place for a girl. Yeah, you're playing as a girl this time around. Oh, what? Somebody need your help? Ha! You're hearing things again, aren't you? That's not a question, you forgot to put the... whatever. We've been through this before, Asha. You're a dreamer, not an adventurer. Oh well. If you really want to follow your dreams, I won't hold you back. Come on, let's head back to the village. Alright, Mr. Mohammed. Now, you may be wondering, just out of morbid curiosity, what's going on down there on the cliff? Nothing. But you do lose a heart, so you probably don't want to do that. Not a very smart move. Alright, so we are playing as a girl named Asha, and we got stuff to do. First, we're gonna pick up some shit. Gonna skip this. There's no fast way to skip this, but this is basically her mother being all like, "Oh man, it really sucks that you're gonna go. Don't forget us, we're gonna miss you." All that stuff. You know, you've seen this before. This is useful to check, by the way, because you get the elixir. If you played any previous Monster World games that are in this same fashion, I think there's only one more that's like this, Wonder Boy in Monster World. You'll know that elixirs are very useful items. They will prevent you from dying by fixing you up. They will heal you fully when you run out of HP, automatically, as long as you have an elixir. But there's a catch. You can only hold one elixir at a time. So make sure you're always well stocked with those items. Other things I picked up are life drops and a gall crystal. Hold on. I'll need to read what he said again because I accidentally skipped the shit too fast. Plus I was thinking about other things. The gall crystal is a quest important item, and the life drops are your upgrade items. These are necessary to get more HP. Collect 10 and you get an extra heart. Anyway, to talk with people, you simply press up when you're right in front of them. Heading out? I used to do some adventuring as well back in my younger days. Thank goodness nobody shot me to the knees. Let me tell you, the best way to go about things is to visit as many places as you can, talk to anyone you see, and explore everything. There are many lands in this world, and you'll definitely be seeing them all sooner or later. To start, you might want to check out the Mute Tower, far to the east. Good luck! I hope you find what you're looking for. Well, isn't he a friendly bastard? I don't think you need to worry about falling damage at all. I've never seen you get hurt from falling damage. These here are healing shrines, just simply interact with them to heal up fully, free of charge of course. Slide down ropes by holding B. Let's try. Oy vey, but you don't have to do that. The Mute Tower is somewhere past the forest, I think. The wind is always dead near the tower. I wonder why. How could it be because it's called the Mute Tower? I don't know, simple questions get the simple answers, but we don't really get to find out why the tower is all the way it is. Oh, actually, this is the village people right here. As far as I know, talking with them just yields basic goodbye messages with some variations, and that's it. You don't have to talk with them. So there you are, Asha. Are you all set? You gotta press C to select what you want, because if you press B, it moves straight to the bottom selection, which is usually the negative one, like no. Okay, that's the spirit. I shall honor you like I would a son. It's going to be hard not having you around. Anyways, it would help if you had the gold crystal with you before you left. Do you have it? Yes. Without it you won't get very far in the lands up ahead. Well, what are you waiting for? Time's a-wastin'. There is one person here that's worth talking to, like this one. We all hate you. Aw man, that's kinda rude, but they're just kidding. And that's it. Your journey begins from there on. Tap the R or L button twice to run? What the fuck are they talking about? The Genesis doesn't have shoulder buttons. I think they meant left or right on the D-pad. Yeah, that's probably what it was. You can find life drops in various places across the world. Like in chests, or just out in the open. You just need to pick them up and you have them. Now who is this mysterious old dude? Hello there, young traveler. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am the world famous sage of documents and recordings. What? You never heard of me? Okay then. My job is to keep track of all that goes on in this world. I have seen kingdoms rise and fall as surely as night follows day. I've also seen some hookers die in the corners of various streets, but that's besides the point. That's like bread and butter for many cities. But for the time being, I would like to learn about your adventures by recording what you've done. Whenever you see me, let me know all you've done lately. Doing so will allow you to continue from that point in the game. But don't ask me what it is, I don't know. Up ahead, you will need the gold crystal in order to enter the Mute Tower. Please make sure to have it before you embark. Record your adventures? Duh. This is your save point, your save system. And the interesting thing about this game, actually, even on the emulators, is that if you do a hard reset, it'll still save your progress. Like, this game doesn't care if you do a cold reset. And, like a cold boot, I mean. And that's interesting, because in my case, I don't actually unpack my ROMs, I load them straight from the archive, which is Probably not the best thing to do, all things considered, but it worked fine for me so far, so that's what I've been doing so far. It saves me a bit of space on the discs. So I do it that way. And I find it kinda surprising that the emulator actually remembers the save data, as long as the emulator isn't turned off. But you think it wouldn't be able to remember it even if the game was turned off properly and rebooted that way. I don't know, it just manages to remember, which is a very cool thing. You wouldn't think that this would actually be ported into a ROM file, but it is, and if you accidentally hit the reset on your Fusion emulator or whatever other thing you're using, that's fine, you didn't lose your progress, as long as you made sure to save. Probably the first instance on a Sega Genesis game that I've ever seen where a save function actually saves as hard as any old save feature in games nowadays. It's pretty amazing. It really is amazing now that I think about it, because old games like this didn't really have a method of saving like this, and somehow they managed to figure this out pretty nicely. It works so well. You know, I bet on a physical device that if you turned it off, unplugged it, plugged it back in and turned it back on, the save file would still be there. If that's the case, I want to see it in action, so I could be amazed at how amazing the developers of this game are. It'll take a bit of time to get to our destination, but we will meet up with some new enemies, like these shrooms and slimes that we've met earlier. The shrooms are a bit more feisty to deal with, but they usually try to hurt you by shitting spores. These are the kind of enemies which I like to classify as HP bitches. Or HP droppers, I should say, not bitches. In the case of a shroom, he normally drops health points, like little hearts that you can use to heal up with. That's kinda nice, because sometimes you get hurt, whether by accident or because the enemy was a bastard and he hit you. This is useful because you can't really just heal yourself whenever you want to. There's no such thing as a healing potion in this game. The only thing that comes close to that is an elixir, but why would you ever use that to just heal yourself up from like minor damages? That would be very stupid. Plus those are not very common, so you don't want to waste them. That's why we have HP droppers, whereas the other type of enemy, like the slimes, are what I like to call coin droppers. They drop coins instead. Only rarely do these different types of enemies switch what they drop. HP droppers sometimes drop coins, whereas coin droppers sometimes drop HP. I'm not sure if that's the case in this game. It was the case in Wonder Boy, in Monster World. Anyway, I would like you to have a look at this next cutscene and tell me if it doesn't look like something else that has been played on this channel before. But first, take the opportunity to heal up if you need to. This is a healing shrine after all. Okay, so you try to walk to the right, can't do that. So what do? Well, you press start, select the gold crystal and press A. Now, watch this. Does this look like anything you've seen before? Did that look anything at all like something you've seen before? I don't know about you, but it really reminds me of Fatal Labyrinth with the way the fucking tower just rises out of the ground. It's quite impressive. But that's okay, because similarities aside, it gets us exactly where we want to be, to the mute tower. Oh, here's that old fucker again. Well, well, well. I knew you would make it. This tower will be a good first test of strength for you. Remember, there is no turning back now. Yes, there is no turning back now. Once you enter a dungeon, you are not allowed to leave the dungeon. No, in most cases at least. I don't remember about the other dungeons, but I think you can leave those other ones. In case you find yourself trapped. I don't exactly know because I don't remember. I haven't played this as much as Wonder Boy Monster World. And again, that one I haven't played in a while either, so I don't know. Now there is one thing I'd like to ask. I don't know if any of you actually know this. I imagine somebody does know. But I'll ask anyway. Do you have any idea why this game is called Wonder Boy 6 when I load it into the emulator? Because that's what I'm seeing on the emulator. That's what it says the name of the game is. It says it's Wonder Boy 6 that I'm playing right now, rather than Monster World 4. Personally, I think it might be technically a 6th game in the Wonder Boy series, but I don't think that really makes a lot of sense, because some of the Wonder Boy games were not exactly the same. Like, I believe some of the earlier titles were simply like these endless runner kind of things, where you're constantly running and you just have to avoid enemies, avoid obstacles, kill enemies, and pick up the loot all along the way. And that's it. Now, as you can see clearly for yourself, enemies drop the money. And we have to have money. Not because we want to be filthy fucking rich, but because it's useful. We get to buy shit later on, so make sure to collect as much dinero as you can. Also, if you really need to block an attack and you can't dodge out of the way, just hold down. You will quickly put up a shield. Let's test it out. Here you go. The shield will block just about anything that it can block, provided that, well, it supports that particular type of damage. I know some later shields that you can purchase will be capable of blocking magic attacks, whereas this one, it can only block physical so far. But that's okay. That's all we need. I do like how fast it goes up. Oh, I accidentally left the building. I do like how the shield goes up so quickly, at a moment's notice even. That's exactly what you need when you're in the middle of a combat situation. When you're about to get hit, you need that shield to go up and right fucking now. What I also like about these dungeons is that you are not just encouraged to kill things for the sake of getting mad money, but also because it's the way to solve puzzles in certain dungeons. Like the Mute Tower is really the most basic dungeon in this game, and as such you'll notice that puzzle solutions are also pretty basic. Kill monsters to make certain things appear or unlock. Like right now we're killing these funky ass wolves which like to box. Once you kill all 4, you'll notice that this step ladder, if you can call it like that, is fully here and ready to use. I believe you can kill this guy before he starts punching the second time. Now the wolf here is also an HP dropper, but I think he can sometimes drop some cash. I do like the face he makes when you kill him. It's not on the same level as "you killed me," but it's close enough. Damn, that kinda hurts my throat. Excuse me for a second. This is why you need some cold water. Although I think honeyed tea would be better, but I don't have it at the moment. I had tea just a little bit ago, and I don't want to make more tea. Seems kinda silly. Anyway, these HP droppers are very useful for any of the dungeons, because dungeons don't have healing stations. What they do have instead, during certain points, usually during like very specific checkpoints, you'll be able to find a vending machine which allows you to buy some health. As long as you have enough gold. Yeah, I know what joke I was going for, but you didn't get it. Or maybe you did, but it was a lot sneakier than you'd think. You never know.